what is it going to take for Grand Rapids and West Michigan to become the place that exemplifies a good and just society? So, John?
So I obviously got the question in advance, which I'm fortunate to have that opportunity. But as I look at it, there's two things that we need to think about, and as it relates to having equal economic opportunity. And the first one, I think, is always the hardest, which is what we do as individuals. And when I look at what we do as an employer, we have high-paying jobs, but those jobs require skills, and those skills require a very high level of literacy. If you look at what was going on in our program for apprenticeships, we do a minimum level test that is supposedly what GRCC can remediate to. And 75% of our high school grads in our community cannot meet that minimum skills requirement. And if I look even at our own workforce, our average workforce before we did any remediation with the workforce was only about the 5th grade reading level. And one of the things that happened over the last year for me was that maybe really start thinking about how we bring people into the skills level, because what was happening was we were taking high school grads and we were just letting people fall by the wayside. And I had 3 long-term employees that came into my workforce at AutoCam Medical from another business. And these were really good employees, so we were doing everything we could, obviously, to provide an opportunity for them. But they couldn't read basic work instructions. And what this made me think about is, what are we doing on the incoming workforce in order to make sure we have a diverse workforce and et cetera, when we're excluding automatically 75% of the students coming in because they can't pass a test. So what are we doing to help them get the basic literacy skills that they need in order to be able to pass that competency exam? And so in my mind, if we don't all think about what it is we're doing in our own systems, how are we going to ever change this and really provide economic opportunity for all? The second one I'd make is more about systemic change. And obviously we've been investing and focused a lot on literacy, which is, in my mind, the root cause of this, which is in the K through C system. But opportunity is not equal because literacy is not equal. And if you look at the way in which our cities run and our cities' schools are identified, poverty is concentrated. And so literacy in the homes where our children are coming from in city schools have a high degree of obviously poverty, and 75% of adults having some type of government assistance have about a 3rd grade or less literacy level. So what happens is, where we need the money the most, we underinvest in our classrooms in our city schools. And this perpetuates the problem of getting kids into our skilled trades. We underinvest in those. We have 30 or more kids all needing intervention and help, and we underinvest in those classrooms. Whereas if you go out to a suburban school, they might have 4 or 5 kids that need the help and the interventions. And you just look at what we've learned about through the reading program that we're doing in partnership with Grand Rapids Public Schools. This low literacy issue is a real issue because there's supposedly a 30 million, research shows there's a 30 million word gap by the time a child is 3 between a high literacy household and a low literacy household. And the K through 3 curriculum in our system is not designed for low literacy children. So we have to run the state mandated curriculum that is not designed in order to help our children achieve. So I think this is something we can fix, but we have to get at a real focus on bringing about systemic change in order to help all of our children achieve the true economic opportunity that I think exists out there, but for some, the bar is too high to grab.
Thank you, John.